Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This video is about my year of progress in making games. Hopefully this video can give you an idea of what sort of stuff you can make within a year of just starting to make games. Obviously you can do a lot better than what I've done. I've only made a couple games, but yeah, it's just to give you a brief overlook on like a realistic year of progress. Okay, so starting with my first ever game. This was made back in college. This is when I just first started to make a character move and animate a character. And for this game I did a lot of artwork because that's what I was comfortable with at the time. I enjoyed drawing on my iPad, so I thought I would try and make my game look cool, and it barely did. It was not very good. I was trying to do the parallax background and stuff like that. This game had very minimal code in it. I literally only managed to get some falling spikes going, and that was about it really. There was no real game, there was no main menu or anything like that. I could go back and finish it if I wanted to now and try and add all that stuff in, but yeah, or I might just completely start to remake it again, because the concept was pretty good. His heart inside the character slowly dims down when you take damage, and yeah, it was very basic platformer. But yeah, that was the first ever game I made. And then moving on to this little demo that I did, I followed a tutorial from this guy called Infizio, I think, on YouTube. It was a great tutorial. It really gets you, and it shows you like some really good examples of just basic code that you can start learning. This is when I started to really focus in on the programming side of things. And yeah, I really did enjoy it. I got a little super jump in there and stuff like that. And it was my first time experimenting with a 3D sort of space as well. Okay, so moving on to the game I made at uni. This was like, I hadn't even started yet, so this was like a little tester game jam before we even started uni. And I think we were given the theme of something inside of a bottle. Life inside a bottle, that was it. And I put a man inside of a bottle, and he has to catch crates. It was probably the most random idea I've ever come up with. It makes no sense whatsoever, but yeah, it was really fun, and it was great to meet everyone at the uni for the first time, and yeah, I really liked the environment, and I just couldn't wait to get started. And when I actually did start uni, this was the game I started to make. This was my first like uni project. This is how it all started, with just basic cubes and a little man shooting, and then it turned into a wizard. So yeah, this was basically a tower defense game that we had to make. So I made mine about a little wizard who has to defend his tower and his stash of gold against like incoming zombies and loads of different types of monsters. And this was when I just like really started to add some UI, some menus, and really start to, you know, push the limits of, instead of just making a character move, you know. And yeah, it just really helped me improve my programming skills and yeah, make a more interesting sort of game. You can play all of these games, by the way, on my itch page. The link will be in the description. I mean, they're obviously not great, but you know, it just shows the sort of progress that I'm making, and it's all documented all over there. Okay, so moving on to the next game. This was the global game jam that I took part in. It was also held at the uni, and I made this game called Yin and Yang. It was about a little cube who has to obviously get as high as he can, and every 5 seconds he changes colour. And obviously the colour that he is, he can only go on them sort of platforms, and if he goes on the opposite platform, he dies. I added an extra feature to it, which actually got me I think it was the best mechanic or something like that, the best solo mechanic. It's basically, I used the sprite mask, so the character had to discover the platforms while using the mouse at the same time. It made the game really, really hard, and a lot of people said it was quite frustrating, but yeah, we had some great fun showing that off, and I actually had to present it as well in front of everybody, which was very nerve-wracking, but yeah, everyone's obviously so welcome in there, and yeah, it was a great time. Okay, so moving on to the next game. This game was for Bracky's Game Jam. It's called Shooting Stars. It's about a little spaceman who has to climb as high as he can to get to the gold at the top, which is a green planet. And stars will spawn towards you and try and hit you, and some of the stars are actually covering a boulder, so you have to use the sprite mask to reveal if they're a boulder or not. And obviously if you get hit by a boulder, you lose your health. Yeah, this one was a bit of a weird one as well. It was kind of scuffed, like the movement like on the planets, it just didn't feel very natural. This is probably one of my least favourite games that I've made. I just couldn't really figure out the idea and really like solidify the idea. It was kind of scuffed, but I just wanted to get something out for the game jam really. Yeah, so that's that really. Again, you got to make these games to try and learn from them, obviously. And yeah, I'll definitely try and solidify the idea before I start to make it, and yeah, stuff like that. I think my issue is I try and make everything too perfect and I don't end up releasing stuff, so I just got it out there and, you know. Yeah, anyway, enough of that. Moving on to the next game. Okay, so moving on to the second game that I made at uni. This was a Unreal Engine project. It allowed me to use like 3D modeling softwares as well, get experience with 3D modeling, which was pretty fun. It's very hard as well. We're using a software called Maya. Yeah, I didn't get along with it to begin with, but I started to enjoy it, and when I started to make my own stuff myself, I started to enjoy it a little bit more. Yeah, I enjoyed 2D art more, which is why I probably didn't get along with this, but you know, if I give it the time of day, I think I would enjoy 3D modeling more, to be honest. And yeah, so I imported all these assets into my 3D game in Unreal Engine. A little bit on Unreal Engine. It was a completely different experience to Unity. I was using Blueprints instead of C#. And yeah, the engine itself was just a bit hard to navigate, but obviously it's just personal preference, right? If I started with Unreal, I'd probably be hating on Unity, but yeah. In fact, I'm not hating on it, but they're both very good, but yeah, I would definitely prefer Unity as of now. But anyway, the actual game that I made in Unreal was called Simon the Spaceman. I recycled the characters from my previous game, which is a bit cheesy, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah, it's just about him going around collecting his parts for his ship to escape the planet. Pretty simple concept, and it works quite well, to be honest. And yeah, so moving on to the next game. Okay, so this next game is my game called Climb. Now, I've been working on this game for quite a while now, and it's kind of getting on my nerves, but it was the first mobile game that I've attempted to make. I was testing out mobile controls. I started off with the joystick controls. Yeah, this game hasn't been very smooth sailing, let's just say that. But I finally got an idea that I'm going with and I'm sticking with now. Yeah, so basically you have to shoot the character by dragging your finger and shooting him at the sticky walls. I've put like a soft body on him, so when he goes on against the wall, he goes all like slimy and squidgy, which I think looks pretty cool and nice. And I feel that's probably the only unique thing about the game. I mean, it's not really unique. There's a lot of games like it on the App Store, but you know what? I just want to get a game out on the App Store to have something to show for it, you know? So when someone goes to me, so where's your games then that you've made? They can only play my games that I've made currently on a computer. I want to be able to show them to the App Store and go, that's my game, you know? I feel like that's probably one of my long-term goals that I've had for a while now. And yeah, so that's the aim of this game. I'm not really trying to like focus too much on it and perfect it too much. I just want to try and get it out and then work on it in the future. I feel like I'm talking very fast on this video. I don't know why. I'm out of breath. I think I've been talking for like 10 minutes straight now, but yeah, I need to slow down a little bit. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. So that's all the games that I've made so far. Obviously, we're going to make many, many more. But yeah, I just wanted to do like a yearly recap sort of thing, and I'll probably do it next year as well. I mean, it's a little bit over a year, probably closer to 2 years now because we're going back to college. But yeah, I'm going to do another one down the line as well. Maybe at 5 years, maybe we'll go to that. But yeah, hopefully gonna keep up the shorts videos as well. I've been doing quite a few of them, and hopefully start a devlog series on Climb and the progress on releasing that. So look out for those, and I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching.